This week's topic, we're going to talk about how to share good news and bad news. When we are excited to share something that we want other people to share the same feeling as us, we would share the news, whether it is good or bad. There are a couple ways that we can use when we want to share either good news or bad news. It's not really the only ways if you want to share the news, but it's some of the these are some of the examples that you can use. I'm pretty sure that you have shared plenty of good news and bad news throughout your life. Let's start with sharing good news. Okay, these are some useful expressions that we can use when we want to share good news. First one, I'm really pleased to tell you that, followed by the information. And then I've got a bit of good news to tell you that, I've got some good, or I've got some brilliant, I've got some great, I've got some wonderful, I've got some splendid news for you, followed by the information. Or you can use something great has happened. Something fabulous has happened. Yeah. And also followed by the news. Or you can just say, hey, you know what? I just got accepted to my dream university. Yeah. It's just as simple as that. Yeah. And that's how most of the people share their good news. But these are some other ways that we can occupy when we want to share the news. These are the example. I'm really pleased to tell you that I got the scholarship. And then I've got some wonderful news for you. No assignment from Miss Wanda. And the last example, something great has happened. My parents bought me a new phone. Yeah. So when you want to share good news, make sure that your tone of voice support the news that you're going to share. You need to sound excited because this is a good information that you're about to share. When you are delivering the news with a flat tone, that's not going to be convincing, and people will not share the same excitement as you. So make sure that you saying it the way people would share something great in their lives. Yeah, usually the intonation a bit rising. It doesn't mean that you have to yell. You don't have to yell. No, you can use your normal volume, but the tone uh, or the excitement is there. People can feel it. Yeah. And then moving on to sharing bad news. Again, these are only some examples. Yeah, the first one, I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. Sadly, followed by the statement. And then the third one, I'm sorry to have to say this, but blah, blah, blah. And then the last one is, I feel really bad to have to say this, but, or I really feel bad to have to say this, but followed by the statement. Yeah. Or you can directly, normally we would just directly drop the news, whether it is good or bad, but then it is depending on how we are delivering the news with different tone of voice. When we are, like I said, when we are about to share good news, we are going to sound excited from the way we're delivering it. And then when we are trying to share bad news, usually our tone of voice slightly change. Yeah. It's not excited tone. Yeah. You're gonna sound a little bit down. Yeah. You know what? I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. So usually flat. Yeah. So people know, oh no, this is gonna be bad. Yeah. So when you are using that tone of voice, oh no, what is it? What's wrong? So people can tell. And these are a few examples. The first one, sadly, my cat passed away last night. And then I'm sorry to have to say this, but we got a D for our group project. I really feel bad to have to say this, but no more online classes next semester. This is going to be a mixed feeling, I feel like. Some of you are actually excited to have offline meeting. So that's how we do it when we are the ones who deliver the news. Now, moving on, if someone else tells us about the good or the bad news, these are some of the ways that we can use to respond to the information. How to respond to some good news? You can simply say, sounds great, hard luck. Oh, how wonderful. Congratulations, that's fantastic. That's awesome, you deserve it. Terrific. Yeah. When we are responding to good news, we have to match their excitement so they know that we are happy to hear that. We are ecstatic. We are as excited as they are. Yeah. Be a supportive human being, be a supportive friend. Yeah. To share the same excitement as them. Not only responding to good news, sometimes we also have to respond to some bad news. These are some of the ways. I'm awfully sorry to hear that. Or the second one, I do sympathize with you. How sad. That must be awful. Poor you. Careful using the last one. Why I said that you have to be careful when we are using the last one, poor you, because this can sound a little bit downgrading to the other person. Make sure that you know the person well to say this, yeah, and be sure that the person will be okay when they are hearing this statement. The most, like, the safest way to respond to bad news is just saying, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. And then, okay, so this is going to be your exercise. Yeah. So you have to share something. You can choose between good news or bad news, or if you are feeling like you have so many stories, you can share both. Yeah, good and bad. Make sure to use the appropriate expression that we just learned. Yeah, I know that you can easily say the news directly without any expressions that I just shared, but since we are learning something new today, make sure that you utilize those expressions. And then also make sure that you address who you are talking to or who do you share the news to. Yeah, and then also let me know how the other person respond to the news. Yeah, let me show you an example. So this is the example. Yesterday, I got into a car accident. I was driving on the ring road and hit a car in front of me. Luckily, no one was injured. I told my dad about the accident. I said, I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you, Dad. I just got in a car accident. Luckily, no one was badly injured. And then he simply responded, oh, I'm sorry, but thank God everyone is okay. Please be more careful next time. Yeah, so these are the examples. So we know what the story was about, who the person talking to, what kind of news. So since I decided to share bad news, this is the bad news. But if you decided to share good news, go ahead. Yeah, these are pretty much how you structured your story. And remember, when we are sharing this type of experience, yeah, for example, in this case, car accident, because the car accident has happened. Yeah, it happened in the past. Make sure to use past tense. Yeah. But then when you are talking about a scholarship, yeah, the news happened in the past, obviously. But if you want to talk something about it, what you're going to do with the scholarship, which is going to happen in the future, make sure you use the appropriate tenses. I think that's all for this week's material. I hope you learned something new on how to share good news and bad news. Have a wonderful day, everyone.